A mom and daughter are flown to U of L Hospital after the house explodes in Grayson County. We have the latest on their condition and what happened. Firefighters are making their way through the area, looking through debris and still looking for people because some are still unaccounted for. And that was as of, again, a press conference that was just a few minutes ago. So they're keeping everyone else far away from this while they sift through the debris. Water is a unique element. It becomes less dense as it freezes. Potholes form for the same reason that ice cubes float in your drink. If you've driven through Jeffersonville lately, you may have been asking this question. Wait, what did that fire truck just say? That fire truck, right next to the sign that's endorsing a specific candidate for city council. This has led a lot of people to ask if their tax dollars are funding the campaign of one candidate over another. That would be messed up, if that's what was happening. That's not what's happening. Why are they painting the 2nd Street Bridge yellow? There are rumors floating around online that it has to do with bourbon, but I know what you're thinking, which is, that is not the color of bourbon. Okay, so to set the record straight, I went to Rebecca Matheny. She's with the Louisville Downtown Partnership. This weekend's Fast Facts are all about summer, and it's not a coincidence that we tend to feel happier during summer months. We spend more time outside in the sun, and many studies have found that being in the sun increases serotonin levels in our brains, which puts us in better moods. Our first responders are expected to be just as mentally fit as they are physically, but in a field where they're pushed to the limits of post-traumatic stress, who's looking out for their mental health? Tell me a teacher who had a profound impact on your life.
My 2nd grade teacher, her name was Mrs. Pickerel, I think was one of the most influential teachers I've ever had.
I had an amazing guidance counselor my senior year of high school. I didn't think I was going to go to college at all. It just seemed like there was no way out. But she stepped in and she really helped me realize that it was completely up to me.
If you ask a teacher why they became a teacher, many will point to a teacher, one who changed their life.
She really did a good job of connecting with students and building that connection.
She had 500 students her senior year. I was just one of them. And she made a point to have a personal relationship with me, and that's what I try to do with my kids too.
So remember, no crossing out, no erasing. Everything your brain does, dump onto that sheet.
Kimberly McClure is a teacher thanks to a teacher too.
That is very good. Yes, you may stand.
She's in this classroom today thanks to the woman who taught her in the 3rd grade. But
Probably what made me finally become a teacher is not what most people go into teaching because of. I definitely probably have a learning disability. I was born premature, so I always lagged behind everyone else, but she was the first person that truly brought it to my attention, and she made sure she brought it to my attention. And unfortunately for a teacher, I even remember her one day saying, "You're just stupid and you're never going to amount to anything." And from then on is, I'm going to prove her wrong. From that day on, I felt like that's what I wanted to be, was a teacher. I wanted them to know you can do it. It takes a lot of practice and hard work. It's not going to be easy, but if you work hard, you have high expectations, you can do it. And I wanted to be the person that got them there.
with the help of her other teachers and her family, McClure overcame her challenges in school, went to college, and got her teaching degree.
It was difficult, but I have my bachelor's degree and I have my master's degree. My master's degree, I had a perfect score for my GPA, and it was not easy. So, you know, I'm 55 years old and I still hear her in my head, but hearing her in my head is what drove me. Hearing her in my head is whenever I start to think I can't do that, I'm like, oh yes you can, and you can prove you can. All right, everybody ready? So
McClure went into a field desperate for new teachers, special education. Since she struggled in school herself, she knows what it's like to feel stuck and frustrated. But she also knows what her students are capable of.
in my career, I mean, I've had kids that want to cry on me or been called choice names, but I have learned I have to push those kids and show them what they can do.
She is like the epitome of like being tough but fair. They know that she loves them so much, but she's not gonna let them slide in that, and they know it. She's going to support them every step of the way. She's gonna give them everything that they need, but she's not gonna lower her expectations, and they rise to it.
Think about it, did she do the same? Did she do different?
McClure knows the number of teachers is dropping, and fewer young people feel interested in joining her in the field. She hopes they'll reconsider.
It's about the difference you make here on earth with people. Why wouldn't you want to do that? It's awesome. Seeing that joy on their face, seeing those light bulbs go off is the joy every minute of the day of teaching.
It wouldn't be the 4th of July without them, right? Communities across America are gearing up to celebrate freedom by lighting up the sky in fireworks. Wallet Hub expects Americans to spend $1 billion on fireworks this Independence Day. That's right, I said billion with a B. Why do Americans use fireworks to celebrate freedom each July? Well, you can thank John Adams for this one. You know John Adams, the original Veep and the second president of the United States. He was also one of the founding fathers who helped craft the Declaration of Independence. After it was finished, he wrote a letter to his wife about his vision for this day.
It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shrews, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations, from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore.
Translation, we gonna party like it's 1776. And we have been ever since. One little hitch in his plan though. He wanted this shindig to go down on July 2nd. See, that's when the Continental Congress stopped debating and approved a resolution to split from the Brits. But the final text of the Declaration of Independence took a couple days to adopt and sign. Hence, our party goes down on July 4th, not the 2nd. Sorry, John. It was never a question if Josh Johnson would become a firefighter.
It's all I've ever wanted to be. You know, little boys, they always want to be firemen. I never grew out of that phase, and that's how most firemen are.
It may be a common dream for young kids, but Johnson had another factor at play. He had a role model, his dad, Chief Joseph Johnson.
We grew up at a firehouse. You know, it was our home in a sense. The firemen might not have been blood, but they were still our family.
Johnson began volunteering at fire stations right after graduation, and he was hired full-time in 2011, just in time to carry the torch, as his dad retired in 2012. But it was in retirement that the Johnson family had to fully carry the sacrifice of service.
Cancer is just, it's a nightmare. It's crazy.
Chief Joseph Johnson was diagnosed with soft tissue cancer in March of 2016. The cancer spread quickly throughout his entire body. Just 6 months after diagnosis, he lost his battle and became another face among so many that were exposed to dangers they couldn't see hidden in the flames. Because when you think about a firefighter line of duty death, you picture them falling through a roof or getting trapped in a room on fire.
That's what everybody used to picture. Now it's totally different.
Johnson says despite seeing his dad's painful death, he's never once doubted his choice to become a firefighter. But he and his fellow first responders are developing a new outlook on the danger after seeing so many suffer. Protective face masks and clean gear were once seen as overly cautious. Now they're expected.
You know, for the longest time, if you had a dirty gear, you were the man. We don't do that anymore. You know, you're the man if you got clean gear. I know we have plenty of room to improve, but I think, you know, we're on the right track. I think everywhere is, you know, doing better.
For young people just beginning their firefighting careers, Johnson has this advice.
Do absolutely everything you can to make it safe for you, and, you know, think about your family at the end of the day. They don't want to lose you at a young age.